Then now, it's Columbia County Today with Marty Rowe. News, issues, events, guests, and your live phone calls. Call the show now at 503-397-1600 or toll free 1-877-397-1632. Columbia County Today, only on AM 1600 KOHI.
And good morning. Welcome in. It's Friday morning. It is January 28th. We are in studio live this morning. Marty Rowe, the host of your show, along with Phil at the phones, taking your phone calls. And it is an open line Friday. This is Columbia County Today. We do our little get-together once a week, and then this program is played back on Sunday mornings now at 6 a.m. bright and early, so you can get up with a cup of coffee and find out what's going on. And I hope you will do that on Sunday mornings. But right now we have open phones today. So let's give the phone numbers one more time, 503-397-1600 or toll-free 877-397-1632. Topics are whatever you want to talk about today. If we don't get a lot of phone calls, then I start throwing out topics and babble. And I've been known to babble for hours at a time, which is fine with me. But nevertheless, I'd rather talk to you. So 503-397-1600 or toll-free 877-397-1632, and we have a lot to talk about this morning. Lots of things happened this week. Let's start off the show with Lonesome Virgil on line one. Lonesome, what's up, baby?
Good morning, Columbia County. How are you?
Better than we deserve this morning. We're on the right side of the grass.
Yeah, well, when I was driving down Gable last night, much to my surprise, there was a big line of police cars, state, county, and city, outside the old public health building.
Yeah, it would seem that somebody called the police last night, I believe, after the meeting had been adjourned. I'm not sure when that happened, but were you at that?
Oh, no. Tammy will probably give you a fill-in, but at least I can tell you who was there. And I went up there, and Tammy and the four ladies, the candidates that are opposing the health board in this upcoming election and trying to take over the health board, were standing out right next to the roadway and looking dazed. With old Joe was standing out there with a video camera, and everybody. I said, well, what went on? And they're standing there with a policeman. And then they said, well, the meeting ran for about a minute, and they were calling the board on what they finally had to say is a lie, that the board says the four ladies were trying to tear down the public health. But that's illegal, I mean, according to Oregon law. So they called the board on that, and the board said they were rude and unruly. And
well, I think, Virgil, what we have to remind people is that Columbia Health District and public health are not the same entities.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
That's two different. There's two different things here, and I think that part of the problem is that this has been convoluted during all of this consternation, and so we must make sure that people understand that Columbia Health District and public health are not the same.
Well, if you're going to use the C words, which is convoluted and all that, another one comes in is commingling of the funds, and so they were, as they say in France, they were laissez-faire with the money.
Well, I don't know about that. I haven't seen anything, but I do know this, and we all pretty much know this, that the board has filed the petition of declaration to determine whether or not they can follow the wishes of the voters, and of course that's now going to go in front of a judge.
Well, I have to say that they're changing it from a health board to a law school, because they've already invested $1 million in lawyers and trying to fight their mistaken and ill-fated hospital attempt. So they're trying to use closing public health down as a threat, and they're using the local police. And I'll tell you.
Well, I don't now. The police were called to the meeting last night. Do we know why they were called? I do, by the way, which I have just printed out. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I got an email from Brady Preheim, and I am going to read this morning. But he said he was at the meeting, and he did send me this email. So I'm going to read this email. But do you? Of course, you were not at the meeting, right? You just got in on the tail end of it. Do we know why the police were called?
Well, my conclusion on that, after standing there looking at a lot of people about 60 years old and sort of innocuous and confused about being dumped on the street, I said the officer was standing to them, and I said, you better guard yourself against these 50-year-old gray-haired ladies. Better be careful. And I said, they obviously are assaulting the board with the truth.
Were they packing?
No, they were packing a video camera.
Oh, they were packing a video camera. So no weapons, no gunfire.
No.
All
right,
good.
Shakespeare said it best. Much ado about nothing. They're trying to piggyback onto the shooters and all the Arizona stuff, and they're just grasping at straws.
Somebody perhaps has lost it here, do you think?
Oh, yeah, they're just drowning.
All right, well, let me do this. Let me thank you for calling, Virgil. I want to read this email this morning here while we're in the first segment from Brady, and thanks for the call, man. Hang in there.
You want me to tell you about the sheriffs?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Go ahead, finish your thought. That's fine.
So I went to the sheriff's meeting, and they're ready to look for a new sheriff's levy at the same election time that the health board members are up. So
that's this coming May election, right? I've gone on record as supporting a levy for the sheriff's department.
Me too.
And so I don't see any opposition to that coming up at all. Do you?
They actually discussed about the tastelessness of exploiting the martyrdom of the sheriff, and
I don't think they would do that.
Just claimed that as a bad event, and I stood up in a meeting and I said, "Hey, you don't need a local martyr when the national climate is just going cuckoo on cops." I mean, they'd had 12 cops killed in like 48 hours.
Well, Virgil, this is a sad statistic, but once you become a police officer, you know that you're putting yourself in harm's way. And I think there are incidents all across our country that don't get reported every day, and it's unfortunate that these kinds of things happen. But I know for a fact in covering the news that there are many incidents similar to the things we've talked about that go unreported. I think it's unfortunate that the mainstream media is sensationalizing these bad things that are happening, but they do still happen. They have happened before, and they will continue to happen because we have people in our society who cannot control themselves. But I think that this is a big reason that we need the help for the sheriff's department here in Columbia County, that there's 640 square miles of territory that need to be covered, and people feel like they need some protection out there. So I've come out in support of a levy, and I will continue to support that.
Me too, and all these deaths are a manifestation of our community's reticence to support the policemen and the sheriffs, and they're paying for our reticence with their lives.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks for the call this morning, and we always like talking to you, man. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, look for Tammy.
All right.
Probably.
There we go.
Bye.
See ya. We're going to jump over to line 2 and our esteemed City Councilman Phil Barlow. Phil, how you doing this morning, man?
I'm doing good. It might not have the best reception right now. I'm going to read an email that was sent to me this morning, okay?
All right, and then I've got to read one, too.
Okay.
All right.
Just want to let you know, everybody's heard about what happened last night. On Thursday, January 27th at about 6:30, we received a call through CCOM that the Columbia Health District Board meeting was out of control. The report was that the person attending were out of their seats and being aggressive and yelling. We responded with our officers, OSD, and Columbia County. The crowd dispersed upon our arrival, and no arrests were made or any other actions taken. The person who called was upset and crying. The reporting party called at the direction of the district administrator and a board member.
Okay, so this was called, they were called at the end of the meeting then?
Yeah, that's correct. And I was contacted last night. Tammy did call me, and she did tell me what happened. And I mean, I don't know, I wasn't there. I do know that with everything going on in the United States right now, with Representative Gabb and all this kind of stuff, and I do know the health district is pretty high perv right now. Not high rank, right now of what's going on. I would hope that we really would think, because you got to understand, man, our city council, we've had some really aggressive people. I mean, I would even go back so far when we were going to bring, and this is more as a city council, we were going to bring this drug clinic out here without, people who were certified. Well, I mean, there was probably, the place was packed, and there was people, yelling and saying things. And the deputy did show up, but just one. We didn't have, three different departments and 6 different officers. That does seem to be a little. I'm not really understanding. In that building last night, I was told the average age was probably between 50 to 80-some years old.
I think
it seemed a little interesting.
Yeah, on the surface, it seems like a little overreactionary, but in all fairness, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I do have a video of the meeting, and I intend to review that.
Oh, you do?
I have the video of the meeting, and so I'm going to watch that, and then I can comment a little further on it.
Well, and I'll let Tammy. Tammy will probably call. I'm not going to tell what she said or whatever.
No, we've got her. We've got her coming up next here.
Good.
So okay.
All right. Well, something else I wanted to say really quick. I'm watching live Al Jazeera TV of Cairo, Egypt. I'll tell you,
that's a mess.
Thing going on right now, man. All of our prayers and our hearts need to go out to those people standing up. Free Egypt right now. We need to think free Egypt. These people are fighting from little babies all the way to old people, fighting and dying for their freedom today.
There you go. All right. Hey, Phil Barlow. Thanks, man. Thanks for checking in. All right. We're going to have to take our first break here, and then when we come back, I'm going to give Tammy the microphone and get a report on what happened last night. I also have an email that I'm going to read from my friend Brady Preheim. He was there last night. So some interesting stuff going on. Maybe you have some comments today. It's always a hot Friday, baby. It's Columbia County Today on AM 1600 KOHI. Stay with us. We're coming right back. You're sitting at home and the lights go out. Is it a power outage? You can tell by looking at your electric meter. If there are numbers in the display, your power is still on. Check your circuit breaker box or fuse panel for trip breakers or blown fuses. If there are no numbers in the display, your power is out, and you should call the PUD at 503-397-1844 to report it. For more tips, visit www.crpud.net. Paving, bark dust, cat, backhoe, rock, septic tanks, sewer lines. M.E. Moore Construction does it all for years in Columbia County. Your projects done right the first time and for an affordable rate. So don't rely on companies that come through offering unbelievable discounts. M.E. Moore Construction is licensed and bonded and stands behind all their work. Call Rodney today and get the best service for your next project. 503-397-2737. That's 503